Hello and welcome to Levant TV headlines. Turkish authorities have identified a suspect over the suicide bombing close to Turkey's border with Syria that left 32 activists dead. Yemeni fighters backed by Saudi-led airstrikes battle to take back northern suburbs of Aden from Houthi opponents, a day after completing their capture of the center of the strategic port city. A ship carrying desperately needed relief supplies docked in Aden, the first UN vessel to reach the southern Yemeni city in 4 months of fighting. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif has defended what he said was a balanced nuclear deal with world powers, telling lawmakers there was a need to accept the negotiations had required compromise. And France's Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius said he would visit Iran next week after the historic deal on its nuclear program and expected to hold talks with President Hassan Rouhani. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting with the Egypt Independent, which leads reporting that a campaign against sexual harassment has recorded 223 cases of sexual harassment in Cairo during the 3 days of the Holy Islamic Eid al-Fitr from Friday to Sunday. The paper also reports that an official report issued by the Agriculture Ministry has revealed that fish is the Egyptian people's favorite kind of protein, while mutton is their least preferred. From Lebanon, the Daily Star leads reporting that Hezbollah is mobilizing its fighters near the Kalamoun town of Sergeya in southwest Syria as it continued its offensive to take control of swaths of barren land along Lebanon's eastern border. The paper also reports that French President François Hollande has asked Progressive Socialist Party leader Walid Jumblat to bring his son Taimour on a visit to Paris to get to know him. From the UAE, the Khalij Times leads, reporting that spreading hate will now be deemed a crime and discrimination against any resident will invite fines ranging from 50,000 dirhams to 2 million under a new decree issued by the President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The paper also reports that the United Nations Security Council has endorsed a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program in return for sanctions relief. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Telegraph leads its Middle East news, reporting that Turkish authorities have promised to step up security along the Syrian border after a deadly bomb attack which ripped through the southern town of Suruk on Monday. The pledge came as officials said they had identified a suspect behind the blast that hit a volunteer center, killing at least 32 people. The Guardian leads its Middle East news, reporting that Israel's Attorney General has ordered a criminal investigation into suspected mismanagement in the running of residences of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A report by Israel's state auditor covering 2009 to 2013 said some of the taxpayer-funded running costs at the Prime Minister's official and private residences were unreasonably high and called for steps to improve efficiency. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that Israeli activists have volunteered to sleep in the West Bank village of Kirbet Sousia, fearing the Israeli army may carry out a threat to demolish it. The village's battle for survival is also being backed by the UK and US governments, which view it as a test case of Palestinian ability to stay on occupied land in the face of Israeli pressure. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in the international papers. China's Global Times reports that the United Nations Security Council has endorsed a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program in return for sanctions relief, but it will be able to reimpose UN penalties during the next decade if Tehran breaches the historic agreement. The 15-member body unanimously adopted a resolution that was negotiated as part of the agreement reached in Vienna last week between Iran and the world's major powers. And finally, the International New York Times reports that the Islamic State, also known as ISIS, initially functioned solely as a terrorist organization, if one more cold-blooded even than Al-Qaeda. Then it went on to seize land. But increasingly, as it holds that territory and builds capacity to govern, the group is transforming into a functioning state that uses extreme violence, terror, as a tool. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.